Good day, everybody. Great to have you here with another episode. We got a real special one coming up here for a couple of reasons. One, I'm going video. Yeah, we're going to go and record this both in the standard audio podcast, but also in video so we can post these up on our YouTube channel, as well as our social media platforms, our pages on Twitter and LinkedIn. The second big thing about this episode is I'm going to be able to go and talk about my favorite musical artist and how his work can be translated to how we all can go and lead with more aligned creativity. That artist is Prince. Now, Prince hails from Minnesota just like me, but also as he was becoming a global icon, I was going through my teenage years. So his music was really connecting with me. But unlike a lot of other people that really lost touch with him after Purple Rain, I continued to be able to go and follow his work through all 39 albums. I have a number of bootlegs, downloads. Now, I'm not the biggest Prince fan. There's a lot that are bigger than me, but I'm not one of those that just hangs on to 1999 and Purple Rain. So there's a lot of good information I think that I'll be able to go and provide you on how Prince handled bringing out his creativity and fulfilling his mission in a way that we'll be able to go and connect. Now, as you can see behind my right shoulder is the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe box set. Within that set is 62 vault tracks, never released tracks. A lot of them would make the careers of a lot of artists, but they didn't make the light of day for Prince. And reading about the creation of those tracks has been really enlightening to me. And it's gotten me thinking about the first aspect on how aligned creativity can go and connect with Prince. Now, when Prince first started out, late 70s, early 80s, he was putting out a new album every year. Now, for record industry executives, that's way too much. It oversaturates the market. But Prince had so much creative capabilities and energies and ideas that he needed to put them from his head to paper, to audio tape, and out onto records. But even that wasn't enough. During this time in the early mid-80s, he created the time, wrote all the songs, played nearly all the instruments, produced the organization. And he did the same thing with the likes of Sheila E. and Vanity Six, Apollonius Six, The Family. He was writing songs for female artists. He had female sensibilities in his head. Manic Monday by the Bangles is a Prince song. Prince knew that he had so much product potential out there that he needed to create brand extensions to be able to go and have these different ideas, genres, styles of music to be put forth and exposed to the marketplace. So he created these different bands, brought Sheila E. in, and went and helped her create a marvelous album, A Glamorous Life, as well as 2 other albums. I use that term brand extension very specifically because business executives want to be able to find ways to be able to go and meet nuanced needs of the market. There's a lot of great stuff within the brand, within that core value proposition, that the mission and vision can be developed further by extending it out into different areas. Prince went and looked at brand extensions. Now on to the second thing that Prince was able to do that translates to aligned organizations. Back when he recorded his first album, 1978, with the For You album, he wrote every song, played every one of the 28 instruments, sang all the vocals, lead and backup, and produced it all by himself. He didn't want any other person's vision on producing the album. He wanted to be able to go and express it his way. However, as he developed as an artist, he ended up bringing together the revolution in various songwriting projects to say, Wendy, Lisa, I'd like for you to take a look at this and add some nuance, not only to their particular instruments, but the way the arrangements were set up, because they had unique capabilities to be able to add that little special something. As he moved on from the revolution and went to Sign of the Times, he brought in horn sections, instruments that he didn't play. So a lot of the horn section arrangements and nuances were done by Eric Leeds, Atlanta Bliss, later on Candy Dulfer, Maceo Parker, all the other people that went and worked with Prince over the years subsequently. But he realized that better products came from bringing people in at the right time to add their nuance, play with it, tinker, see what was possible, and then be able to go and create great music. What does that mean for you? That means there may be people with great ideas and they're nascent and there's things that need to get out of their head. But bring in product development, finance, customer service, people from different parts of the organization with different insights that can go and bring some nuance to that product to say, we'll probably need to look at this thing at this point. Once we get there, this will probably happen. In order to avoid product delivery problems, we'll need to make sure that we take care of this or that. Product development doesn't need to be done with blinders in a vacuum. In fact, better products come out because of the collaboration from people who care about connecting to the mission and vision. The third aspect that connects Prince and his process to what you can do on aligned creativity is that Prince didn't believe in mistakes. He's quoted in this box set behind me, there's no such thing as mistakes. If you think they are, then you need to look at them from a different perspective. Hacking up that quote a little bit. And those veteran listeners to the podcast know that I coach youth basketball. And I often say as a result of games, there's only two things that can happen. We win and learn, or we learn. There's no mistakes. They're only stepping stones to becoming better. And that those mistakes, understanding where we're at, can go and propel us into paths that we hadn't thought of before. It'll take us in directions that we hadn't foreseen because we never took the opportunity to stretch ourselves and make the mistake. One of the songs on this set, The Ballad of Dorothy Parker, one of my favorites, is the classic example of a mistake done right. When Prince recorded this song, a new engineering board had just got brought into the studio and it hadn't been configured yet. But Prince went in there anyways to start recording The Ballad of Dorothy Parker. And there wasn't the high end set up on the board to be able to take that part of anything that was done. Prince knew this. He still recorded the whole thing without the high end. And it has this moody feel, a storytelling song that just connects with the soul. And he actually told engineer Susan Rogers right at the end, hey, this is a nice board, but the high end needs some work. He took that recording, and that's what went on Sign of the Times. It was a mistake. And it's an awesome, awesome work product. How does that apply to you? If you really want to go and stimulate creativity, conversation, empowerment, you need to allow people to go into places where they can make mistakes and fail. Or if they fail and make mistakes, they can go and assess what happened in terms of the decision-making process, the variables around them, and find out what happened. And they might be able to use that process, tweak it in a different way to be able to go into the right direction. So it wasn't a mistake. It was only a part of the journey. Another example, one of the songs on this album, 1987 release, was actually recorded in 1979. 8 years later, got put back. It was in the vault, wasn't good enough. This project called for it. He reworked it, and bang. There was a song for one of the greatest albums he's ever written. 4. Someone with that type of creativity, that God-given talent to be able to go and connect things and put them from his head to paper, to audio tape, to a record that goes on the radio. You need to have some sort of process to take that raw material and put it into something that's going to be coherent and usable. Once you allow the people to have the creative ideas and bring them out and communicate, and there's no mistakes, it's only part of the process, you start learning and figuring out what the best ways are to be able to go and massage it and put it and turn it into a viable product that meets customers' needs and goes and fulfills the mission. My guess, in a lot of organizations, there's a lot of people that come up with certain ideas, and I build it and they will come. Or there's great ideas, and then there's some manager who goes and says, nah, that doesn't work. Because there's no process to be able to go and collect these. If you recall from my episode with CTO of 3M John Banovitz, we talked about their 15% culture. That process of allowing 6 hours a week to be used for whatever someone wants to work on, as long as it goes and meets up with their vision, allows them to go across the company and collaborate and be able to sell ideas and products. And that creates things such as Post-it notes, because they had developed a process to be able to go and harness the unbounded creativity that they wanted to go and put forth in the organization. 4 ways that the musicality and the creativity of Prince works for your organization. Now I have a challenge for you. It may not be Prince, but there's probably some artist, something that you connected to as a youth or now, maybe a musician, maybe an actor, it may be a sculptor, whatever it happens to be. Take a look at that person, that group, and research their history, how they went about things, the issues they faced, and being able to go and create the types of products that resonated with you. And try and make connections to what you're doing at work. When they got stuck, they did this. Is that something that you could do at work? Imagine asking the people that work with you to do the same and come together and have a conversation about these motivational people that have great creativity and talk about how they went through the process and maybe come up with something that you as a collective group could devise in terms of a process to be able to get the great ideas out. Open-ended. Free. full of possibilities. And then look to establish some of those processes. That would be a really fun exercise, I think, and one that could be quite enlightening. Thanks for taking the time to be able to go and listen and watch. If you like it, put a little thumbs up on the YouTube, or go and send us a comment, give us a rating on Apple Podcast or wherever you happen to be listening to this podcast. Also, please send in ideas, questions that you have for things that you'd like me to talk about. Because I want to be able to go and answer your questions. If you have the question, other people have similar questions and want to learn about these things to be able to collaborate and make themselves better. Stay tuned. Next week, subscribe. We'll be able to go and get you all those downloaded to you so you can go and look at them as soon as we go and post them up. Enjoy your day. Keep thinking about how you can build your leadership capacities to gain greater alignment to mission and vision. And we'll see you again soon. Cheers.